what's an injury you sustained, and lied about how it actually happened because it was too embarrassing. I once semi-dislocated my kneecap in such a way that my leg locked up and I was in incredible pain. By sitting down to eat at the dinner table and twisting my leg somehow, I hurt myself sitting down. Instead I told my friends I had fallen down a steep hill on the local heathland, but my brother told them the truth and I was promptly mocked. I broke my toe running from a bee. I'm a huge weenie about stingy bugs, so when a bee got in my hair I freaked out. I ran toward the house, lost my balance, kicked the concrete step of mom's porch and fell backwards. Mom was sitting on the porch and I accidentally backhanded her before crashing to the ground. She was laughing so hard she couldn't help me up, and I was laughing so hard I couldn't get up. I was super embarrassed for a while and just told everyone I tripped. I got over the shame because it was pretty freaking funny, so I don't lie about it anymore. I was once buttering toast with my face really close to it. I like my butter to be spread precisely. Then I sneezed and slammed my head on the counter, effectively knocking myself out, and had to go to the ER to be treated for a concussion. I dislocated my kneecap while masturbating, lied and said I was falling off my bed when I woke up from a dream. I once fell out of bed and cracked my head open on a metal frame. Blood everywhere, a visit, stitches etc. I was about 6 years old. I still have the scar decades later. My mother literally changed our beds even though we really couldn't afford it to safer ones. The truth is, I didn't want to go to bed, so I flung myself out of bed to pretend to be hurt and maybe get to stay up for a short while longer. I mean, you got to stay up. I was removing facial hair using a remover cream. I ended up leaving it on for too long, which caused burns. I told people I dropped hot noodles on my face. Then you have to explain how you did that. I got surgery a few years ago on my knees as I had dislodged some loose cartilage in the joint and also torn a bit of my meniscus. At the time I was playing a ton of ultimate frisbee, so I just told people it was that. It actually happened when I was getting up from a chair. Hahaha. I dislocated my kneecap playing ultimate frisbee and was embarrassed, so I told people I was sparring MMA. Chair, ultimate frisbee, MMA. I got a black eye as a kid. I slipped and fell into the support beam of my basketball rim. My dad made me lie to my other family members and say I got it defending some kids at school. He was pretty embarrassed at how terrible I was at basketball, lol. I kinda skimmed through the comments and misread it as you hitting your head on the rim. Thought I found Blake Griffin's alt account. Was getting hot and heavy with my boyfriend at the time. He reached under my shirt and unhooked my bra and then pulled my shirt and bra up over my head at the same time. As he did this, the underwire in my cheap ass bra popped out and left a huge scratch right across my forehead. I made up some story about digging through my closet looking for something and getting scratched by a hanger. I was getting hot and heavy with my girlfriend once. A weird thing about me is that sometimes when I am making love on my back, my hands, feet, and face go all numb and tingly, so I didn't notice the handcuffs I was wearing had cut a deep long cut into my wrist until it was too late and everything was covered in blood. I cut my thumb with an axe. The cut was almost to the bone. I never told anyone because I was told not to play with the axe. This is when I was 6 years old. Eugene, someone should have told you to be careful with that axe. Fully took off my nail while playing football, I said. Was playing sport. Just an intense game of sword fighting on Wii Sport Resort and slammed my hand really hard on a table. You should just say you lost it during a sword fight. My grandmother noticed a mark on my forehead. It was round and just under an inch in diameter. She asked me what happened. Without missing a beat, I straight up replied with, "I burnt my head with my hair straightener." She grumbled that I should be more careful. What really happened, you ask? I got my head stuck between the back seat and back armrest of a car, resulting in a friction burn, similar to carpet burn, while rooting getting laid banged in the back seat. Here in Canada we have a store called Roots. My parents had some friends from Australia come visit and they were killing themselves laughing and had to take a picture in front of the sign. I was in high school taking my morning shower. It was an older house and the shower was a tiled-in room with a glass door. Being the high school dork that I was, I thought it would be cool if I ninja elbowed the door open. The whole door spider webbed and one little piece popped out, leaving me with a nice gash on my elbow. My hand slipped. The funny part was that about a week prior, my brother sliced his hand open in the same shower trying to open a bottle of shampoo with a pocket knife. Neither of us are too bright. I once punched a bowling ball because I was frustrated. It turns out bowling balls are pretty hard. Broke my hand, it was swollen and bloody. Told my boss at work I slammed my hand in a door. It's still broken. This was like 6 months ago. Got drunk. Fell on my face on pavement. Said the huge gash on my forehead down to my cheek was from rugby. To be fair, it was during a rugby social. Frickin' figure it out, that's what I says. I have these really ugly shoes that I wear around the house that my husband absolutely hate. I was taking laundry down the stairs and I fell down the stairs because of the shoes. I couldn't tell him that because then he will be correct that my shoes are stupid. So I told him that the dog ran between my legs and made me fall. A scar across my forehead. I got it from hitting my head on a fan as a child, and it's still kind of there. I always just say that my cat scratched me and it went pretty deep, therefore the reason it's still there. And now everybody hates the cat. I haven't exactly lied about it, but depending on who I'm talking to, I have been leaving out some important details. I got my wife an electric scooter for her birthday. The day she got it, we went out for a ride. I was on my electric skateboard. It had recently rained a bit, so the pavement was a little wet, but not too bad as long as you were careful. I got the idea to pretend to fart and get a speed boost from it, so I made a farting sound and totally gunned it. Since the pavement was damp, my board slid out from under me and I went down directly in front of my wife. She didn't have time to stop, so she also fell. We both got some scrapes and bruises. Unfortunately, she got it worse than I did. When telling the story, I've left out the fart boost part of it, someone I'm not really close to. Try adjusting the angle on your rear booster next time. Was out of works for months with this one. Broke my finger and severed the tendon catching a heavy door to hold for a cute girl. What was your fake story? I was crap-faced and fell in the parking lot of my friend's apartment and busted my face wide open at her birthday party. The birthday party just so happened to be the night before a second date with this really cute girl I met on Tinder. Went on the date and told the girl that a dog at work had knocked me over and I fell on my face. I work with dogs and me being put on my ass by a Great Dane or some other huge pup isn't unusual, and she understood. While on the date some guys came up to me and rudely asked me WTF happened to my face. My Tinder date grabbed my hand and made up some story about how I got in a fight defending her honor in a bar or some nonsense. I could hardly keep a straight face while she was telling the story, but she sold the crap out of it. It wasn't until a few days later I told her the real story of how I got hurt. Tinder date and I are getting married soon. What a wholesome story. Jumped off a 12-foot recreational climbing wall drunkenly to impress a boy and broke both of my legs, putting me in a wheelchair for the rest of the summer equals I had a rock climbing accident. I have scars on my knees that I tell everyone I got from a bad fall. It's plausible. I am very clumsy. In reality, I was having sex with a guy the floor of his bedroom and got rug burn on my knees from when I was on top. Do you wanna know how I got these scars? Poured scalding hot grease into my shoe when working in a kitchen. Had to look my boss dead in the eye and say I was fine because I was scared to get drug tested. I waited 10 minutes to go investigate the damage so nothing seemed suspicious. Worst burn I've ever had. I got a second-degree burn on my butt cheeks. My friend stupidly let it slip during a dinner with my mom. I had to quickly lie and say I was taking a bath and didn't check the water because every human gets in the bathtub butt first. I really got the injury from pouring oatmeal which hadn't cooled down into the back of a diaper I was wearing. Excuse me, what? Threw out my back sneezing. Told people I was moving something heavy because that was less stupid than the truth. I threw out my back from attempting to smell my foot. God, I was in so much pain for days. I once gave myself a black eye trying to move one of those heavy boxes containers of cat litter. I leaned over to pick it up and unbeknownst to me it was actually empty instead of the full 35 pounds I was expecting. Brought it up fast and the corner of the container clocked me in the eye. Thankfully my school and friends know I'm fairly clumsy as it is, so they didn't really bat an eye at it once I assured them it was just my clumsiness. A fun tidbit: I've lived in the same house since I was born and have fallen down the same stairs. I literally learned how to stairs on over 25 times in my life. I'm 18, almost 19 now. I lied to co-workers, no reason to lie to family. My injury was one night a group of friends were walking home from the bars early in the morning. I ran ahead for some reason and then I needed to pee. I went into an alley between two houses and it was pitch black. I pee, but on my way back to the street I trip on a trash can lid. I ended up spraining my ankle so bad that a bone in my foot broke. Apparently this is supposed to happen. I had to limp home. To make matters worse, I was new to this job and had to take the train. I had to walk to and from the train station, going up and down a ton of steps. Tough couple of weeks. Told them I hurt my foot playing sports. Caught my ex with his hand sliced open. Told me he was handling knives. Turned out it was a partial truth, except his hand slipped since he was trying to sneak a chunk of my cookie dough I had frozen without me finding out. Fell down the stairs cause I'm old. I told everyone there was ice on the top step, but there wasn't. I have no idea how I missed the step or what I did. I just know I was on my back and thankful I didn't also smash my head against them. Whenever I have a particularly ugly pimple, I stick a band-aid on it. Tell people I hurt myself in my workshop. Was driving along at night and wanted to use some nasal spray I'd bought earlier for hay fever. Reached into the glove box and got the bottle out, and while driving along took a big hit of the nasal spray. Immediately felt an overwhelmingly burning sensation in my nostril and had to pull over. Through teary eyes I checked the nasal spray thinking it must have expired or something, then realized I'd picked up a bottle of super glue and honked a good squirt up my nose. Would not recommend that to anyone. Told my missus when I got home I'd hurt my nose in the gym because sniffing glue is not something you tell people. I was going to the bathroom and I was reading comic books. I was on the toilet for so long that my legs happened to fall asleep. As I was getting up I fell over with no use of my legs and broke my wrist. Told everyone I got in a fist fight. In high school I was just messing around with some friends in the parking lot after school and I had jumped off the back end of my friend's car while it was in motion and landed on my foot really goofy. I either broke a bone in my foot or badly sprained it because I couldn't walk on it. I didn't want my mom to get mad at me for being an idiot, so I wrapped it up every day for a few months to keep it straight and not hurting. The pain eventually went away, but it was a rough few months that I had to fake not having a limp. She never really questioned while I was wearing pants every day for the early summer months, so whatever. Mum told me not to go near the farmer's guard dog when I was 4. I went to pet farmer's guard dog when her back was turned and it bit my knee. I told her I fell over and grazed it due to not wanting her to find out I tried to pet the guard dog. Loved that dog. I have permanent nerve damage in my left foot. I say I slipped in my heels on ice leaving my apartment in New York that night, but really I slipped while dancing into my kitchen in those heels. My foot is pretty much constantly in pain, and high heels really are not an option unless I'm planning on sitting most of the time. My trifluoroacetic acid scar that is about 6 inches x 4 inches on my left forearm isn't a lab accident. As I tell people, I use the acid to cover my self-harm scars, which were prolific and noticeable. I got the idea from the hot iron scene in the movie Rush, when Jason Patrick burns off his needle marks. This scar is still incredibly obvious, but is easily explained away. I have never admitted that to anyone. I did it in 1995. You have met cat poop. Do not leave without commenting amen. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.